one's a little bit different.
Aggies, tribal council has begun. Today we must make a decision. Today we must vote on what uniforms we will sport in Kyle Field as we take on the Auburn Tigers. We must cast our votes now. Tyler, you up.
I have made this decision based off of my kicking leg, and this will help us get to the 1 yard line.
I have to make the decision because the number 12 looks so damn good on the jersey.
I made this decision because I want to knock people's heads off with this helmet.
Aggies, I will tally the votes. The votes are in. The first vote, Tyler picked maroon pants. The second vote is in, and Nana picked maroon jersey. The third and final vote may be the most crucial vote of all. It is the helmet. And DJ picked maroon helmet. Aggies, the votes are in. The tribe has spoken. Step up, take your torches, and somebody like me up. Boom!
What a skit. What a little acting job these guys did. That was cool. That's different than our typical uniform pump-up videos. That was pretty sick, but we're going to be going after it in maroon, maroon, maroon. Looking sharp. Couple of alternate uniforms coming up right after it, so the Aggies will come back to Kyle Field after winning the big one on the road at Notre Dame. How y'all guys doing, man? Thank you so much for being here. We're back. It feels like it's been a month since we've watched Aggie football, but it was a really opportune bye week, right? For us as fans and for the team, for both of us. You get to revel in the game, right? You don't have the pressure of getting ready for that next one. For this channel, we were able to kind of sit and talk about Notre Dame for a couple of videos and just kind of take a step back for the team. They were in fall camp, 3 weeks, leading up, crescendoing into that Notre Dame game. And it just feels like it's been a long time since we've seen Aggie football. I'm laying in bed at night thinking of freaking Casey Concepcion running for a 70-yard touchdown, Marcel Reed connecting on that pass finally, thinking about what can be and what lies ahead for this team. And talking about this game with Auburn, 2:30, Kyle Field, going to be rocking coming home after that big win. I'm confident. I like our team, even with the defensive stuff we're looking at, some up and down nature there. But I feel like this is a win when I look at it. I mean, and honestly, the Aggies can win this game. They can cover. They can win by 10. They can win by a couple of touchdowns. And I say that knowing damn well that Auburn has some weapons. Auburn is a formidable team. Did some respectable stuff on the road last week. Hostile environment. Good defense they went up against. It's a good team. But that's how I feel about A&M. I feel like this team coming home after the confidence they gain on the road, after a bye, Auburn's second straight SEC game on the road, I like A&M's chances so much. But as confident as I am, I still find myself terrified. As much as I love Elko, the staff, and as much as I believe in this team, as much as what they proved on the road last week, that really showed us something, right? But that win alone doesn't get you anything. It's the follow-up. It's the then what. It's just like LSU last year where you went and you felt like you climbed the mountaintop. And there was this great Saban quote that was presented to me this week. It's like, a lot of people make it to the top of Everest, but a lot of people pass on their way down. Because getting to the top of the mountain, that's just half the battle. And we've climbed one of many mountaintops that are coming this year. So this game represents true proof of concept. We know that Notre Dame game was a hurdle. We know that getting over that road hump, you know, a top team, a ranked team on the road was something that A&M has not done in recent history. And that's a really big deal. But A&M's won the big one before. And the one now shows that you are who you think you are. And there are a lot of games left. This is game one of an SEC slate, and I'm talking about the game this way because this is the game that can give you confidence. And I know it'll give me confidence as a fan, as I'm sure it will for you, as a litmus test going into SEC play to see how you handle your business as the hunted. That's what this game presents. Because for Auburn, This is a game where they can get it all back. This is a game where they can get back on the winning track. They're in the middle of a really rough stretch. A&M's like in their manageable stretch right now, right? The 3 home games. Auburn is in the trenches right now. On the road at OU. A&M on the road. Bye week. Georgia. Then they have Missouri coming right up. And then later on the year, they're on the road at Vandy, which is no longer Vandy. It's new Vandy. And then they play the Iron Bowl. So it's like Auburn's trying to get back right now. And they feel like they can. They feel like they have the troops to do it. And I agree, that's a good team over there. But for A&M, we can lose some lingering concerns in this game. They can be stamped out in this game because after the bye week, I feel like this team has a chance to right at least somewhat the areas where they've been wrong. I think defensively, as much as 40 points speaks against this, or 33 points truly speaks against this, there were steps taken last week in the run game. There were some big plays by this defense. Now, there's still a lot to clean up, but can you find yourself in a game where you gain confidence going into Mississippi State, going into Florida, and then getting the game that I think is the toughest of this homestand in Auburn? It's a really freaking big game, guys. And this is a game, in my opinion, and this whole stretch really is, but this is like the litmus test for it, that can separate A&M from just like in that SEC mess, in that SEC like parity, or it's like a gauntlet, right? Like teams are going to get knocked off, teams are going to win and lose. Or are you upper echelon? Because a team that's in the pack will drop one or maybe more of this homestand. But a team that's ready to cruise and compete later in this year against some of those really tough road games, LSU, Missouri, Texas, even South Carolina, even Arkansas, they can go out there and win these 3 games. And that starts this Saturday versus Auburn. I'm so excited for this game, guys. Auburn is a team that is good in a lot of areas. I wouldn't call them great in a lot of areas, but they're really solid in several areas of their team. Very threatening team, a team that believes that they can make a run at the playoff, and I think that's rightfully so. But it's also a team that I feel like A&M can progress against. That's the opportunity at hand. It's like it's good, but it's not a juggernaut. You can go take steps right now. That's on the table, guys. And I'm glad to share this with you guys. 2 more sleeps. 2 sleeps before we enter SEC play. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to check in with the chat right now. The call-in link is pinned. Take a score predictions. Of course, if you get the score right in a call, you'll be written in Sharpie on that Hall of Fame up there. And you'll be immortalized in the background of this show. 4 shows to come. You'll stay in the background. You'll be there. We've only had 1 entry, and that's Noble, who got it right last year versus McNeese. If anybody can get the score right, you're going to be on there. And it's a lonely list. It's lonely at the top for Noble Guy. So if anybody can call in and get that score right, if you don't want to call in, if you can't call in, drop your score prediction in the chat. Let me know if you're here. I want to say what's up to all of you guys. Like and sub. Thank you guys so much. See a lot of familiar faces in here. I see Jay win. I think we win this game by double digit. But in the next 3 games after this one of them is going to be closer than we like. But we still win it. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, these games are not easy games. I say this is a manageable part of the year, but that's because the 3 games are at home. And, Florida's down. Mississippi State's up. Mississippi State's up. They got a big game this weekend versus Tennessee. I mean, hopefully we take care of business so we can go observe the ending of that game and see what's going on. I'm anticipating a competitive game between Mississippi State and Tennessee this weekend. Interesting game. I'm glad it's at night. I'm glad it's the blackout in hindsight now that they're looking better than expected. And then, I think Auburn's the best team of the 3, Jay. David, I'm so sorry. I'm expecting to be disappointed. Well, at least you're not setting yourself up for disappointment because you're anticipating disappointment because disappointment hits harder when you don't expect it. So good for you, David. Kelly, good to see you. Young Alpha Cobra, good to see you. Kelly Clark says 27-10 Aggies. John Peroni, good to see you. 38-17 Aggies. I like that score. If we hold them to 17, we will have taken a step. And here's Bevo's bodyguard. Welcome back, Bevo. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. I wonder why. You have A&M scoring 17 points. And I've actually seen several score predictions from the Auburn side, a couple neutrals, of A&M scoring 13, 14, or 17 points. What? Have you guys seen A&M's offense? Have you seen how quickly they can score in bunches? One thing about A&M's offense that I don't think has been talked about enough is that versus Notre Dame in the second quarter, versus freaking Utah State, versus UTSA, this offense has just lit it up quickly. Like versus Utah State, second quarter, 8 minutes left in the quarter. You score 3 freaking touchdowns going into halftime. You end the game right then and there. UTSA, a little closer than comfortable. Third quarter, I think it was 3 touchdowns. The offense just lights up and just takes the game away. Even versus Notre Dame, second quarter, you were down in the game by 10, and you end up leading at halftime. This offense just explodes. It explodes. It explodes. It can just go from basically zero momentum. Like, as we saw in the beginning of the Notre Dame game, you had nothing going. You had a 3 and out. You had an interception. You come back for like the 4th or 5th possession of the game. Took 2 plays to get Mario Craver to the house. This offense scores fast. This offense scores in bunches. And Auburn has some good stuff defensively. But where they have been lacking is where A&M has been strong. Auburn ranks 106th in FBS in terms of explosive plays of 20 yards or more allowed. They've given up 14 of those. A&M ranks like 13th in that metric on the offensive side of the football, explosives generated of 20 or more. And that's with A&M being one of the few teams who have had a bye week already. A&M can lose this game. They can. But it's not happening at the hands of this offense scoring under 20, right? Like, if Auburn wants to feel good about their defense, they will have held A&M to like 28, 27, maybe 24. I truly feel that way. Like, that is a good outing for Auburn, and that is a winnable scenario for Auburn. But below 20, do we anticipate that? I don't think so. That would be like reevaluate the season. Like, this offense might not be real. That's very, very much not on my bingo card. But I appreciate you coming back, Bevo's Bodyguards. Good to see you, man. I know you're feeling good after the Sam Houston game. Noah 2Wavy, good to see you. HB, good to see you. Really want the defense to find their identity this game, says Jeb. Good to see you, man. Yeah, and that's an opportunity at hand. I have some notes on the game I'll get to after we check in with the chat and before we get into the calls, because I have some like last-minute talking points, last-minute things to watch. The defense is certainly on that list. I think a couple guys have an opportunity this game, Jeb. The skit was awesome. The maroon face mask would have been sick. Beat Auburn. My call is 28-17 A&M. Good luck to you. Thank you, Barnes. That is our local Alabama fan. And, of course, this game means something to him. He's got to see Auburn lose. Play to win. Good to see you, man. I hope to hear from you tonight. Little Shy, good to see you. Micah, why does Tyler White have so much aura? He's an aura farmer. He just kind of looks at the camera and he just exudes excellence. He exudes punter. He exudes 1-yard pin in the corner. Tyler White, I think, wants a couple punts back, and I think the best is yet to come for Tyler White, man. What a weapon he can be. This game is a trap game of trap games, says Caps. Caps, good to see you. I actually don't like the label of trap game here. I actually don't like it, and I appreciate the comment. I'm going to react to it. I think what defines a trap game is when a game is like sandwiched in between 2 probably bigger games that are more highlighted on your schedule. This game's after a bye and before Mississippi State. I don't think this game meets the criteria of a trap game. I will say, like, to kind of go towards your point, this is a game we expect to win that we can definitely lose. So if that's your definition of a trap game, it sure is. It sure is. A&M's the favorite. Auburn's dangerous. Auburn's desperate. In that respect, yes, for sure, Caps. Good to see you today. Just bought my tickets to the Florida game. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That'll be the throwback uni game, Jeb. Hopefully this team isn't the Aggies of past years. And that's what's on the line right now, right? Like, we've heard Elko talk about how this battered Aggie syndrome, he's like, that's not me, guys. That's the last guy. That's the guy before that. That's the history. And I always say on this channel, I'm not a historian. I usually don't lean on history when I'm looking at what's going to happen for A&M in a given season, because I think every season and every team is unique. Every coaching staff is unique. We're especially not comparing one staff to another, etc. But as a fan that consumes this sport and just wants to see my team do well, you can't help but lean on history a little bit, right? History says that A&M teams might not do so well in these games you're supposed to do well. I'll give you like 2019 Auburn, for instance. You know, that was a weird year. You played number 1 or number 2 4 times in the year. And then the Auburn game was one at home that you felt like you could get. It's like, that's a competitive game, but A&M can get that one, and that would set that season right, even though you're not expected to win those really big juggernauts. And they didn't win it. You can think of the Auburn game last year. It's a game where A&M is probably the better team. They were down some players at the time, of course, ended up losing Will Lee in the game. That changes things, but just going into the game, you feel like A&M has so much to gain from this game, and they just don't do it. So the history, as fans, we definitely feel that. But for Elko, this is a chance to show that that's not him. I feel like Elko was brought here to win this kind of a game. I feel like, A&M goes up against Georgia or Bama on the road or something like that, and it's like, okay, that team might be more talented than us. We might not win that game. But these games versus Auburn, versus Mississippi State, games you feel like, you are a favorite in, you're a touchdown favorite, I think those are the games that Elko gets right. And again, this is proof of concept. This is the litmus test. This shows us that is real. And that's what makes this game exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking. John Peroni, love the comment. Thank you. Super Mario Craver. I have a Mario hat right down there, man. I love it. I love it, Barnes. Troy, good to see you. Our punter has more aura than the whole team will be. Okay, that's so true. I think Florida could be more of a trap game than Auburn. Yeah, Florida's scary because they're really down, and then you're at the road at Arkansas the next week. Arkansas, going into the year, was like the trap game. At Arkansas, between what at the time was like a top 15 Florida and then LSU after. It's just a tricky schedule, right? There's a tricky schedule. It's just SEC football. Leave no doubt, says Noble Guy. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. I got drug tested and I came back positive. Officially high on this team, says Noble. Hell yeah, so good. He had to comment it twice. Is Tyler White up for the best drip on the team? Yes. Yes. Wonder how many people are going to dress in Super Mario costumes. I'm debating whether or not to bring the hat. Maybe later in the season, once he's really established himself, I'll bring the Mario hat to a game. I saw a stat where after that 75-yard run we gave up week 1, after the run, we've only given up 3.4 yards per carry. There have absolutely been strides in the run game defense. Now, the explosives given up, the defensive busts in zone coverage, giving up outside contain, in opportune times, mistakes, those haven't gone away. But down-to-down run defense, stuffing some short yard plays against Notre Dame against a good offensive line and running attack, that stuff has absolutely trended the right direction. And we're going to talk about Auburn in a second because they're going to attack us in different ways than we've seen before with that running game. It's a good reason for concern in this game is the way Auburn's going to run it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Play to win. Look at this score prediction for play to win, guys. Look at it. I mean, it's kind of wild. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Play to win. I love it. I absolutely love it, man. We'll keep going with the chat for a second, and then we're going to get into my last talking points before we get into the calls. I don't think Auburn's a playoff team, but I think they're competitive in every game. Last year, they were competitive in every game, too, and they just came up short. It was always like they would get to the red zone, turn it over, get to the red zone, go for it on 4th down, get off the field. Bad special teams, missed a lot of field goals, bad punts. This year, they should be better. I mean, in theory, Jackson Arnold is better than Peyton Thorne. We'll see. Better stop Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons. Yep. Living with Jay. Good to see you, man. 34-24. I'm assuming Ags. Similar to my prediction. By the way, I am 38-28. Very reasonable. Very reasonable right there. I think that's an over. I think that's a cover. We don't need to stop Cam. We just got to stop Jackson. Stop Jackson Arnold. Get in his head. I like it. I like it. Cam Coleman almost won the game by himself versus OU, though, I have to say. But Jackson Arnold is the one that missed those balls. And we got to make him uncomfortable. Tyler White has more aura than their whole team. Hell, yes. Cap says 38-24 A&M. Troy says 24-17 A&M. Rattle Arnold, you can stop their offense. HB says need a hot start. Bookmark that. We're going back to it, HB. I'm taking State over Tennessee with the upset. I love it, Jeb. I actually bet Mississippi State to cover. I think Tennessee wins a very close game. It's going to be competitive. I think. We'll see. Great test for Mississippi State. That's a great game. Ben Capatillo, howdy, back at you, man. Moo Max edits. That name threw me off for a second, Jen. Hey, boys, 11 changed my screen name, and I can't change it back. All right, shout out 11 for the name that actually made me lag there for a second. You can go back and watch me read that, and I was like, are we getting spammed right now? Good to see you, Jen. So nice being ranked ahead of T. We got to keep it that way, man. We got to keep it that way. Arnold will not get it done for Auburn. He'll freak out with the 12th man there. He'll get to know Cassius Howell a few times. Arnold has a history of standing in the pocket too long, getting sacked. That's the script right there. That's the script. Colton says, once Marcel can dial in the deep ball a little more consistently, offense is unstoppable. They left some points out there against Notre Dame. Dude, if he connects on like 2 or 3 of those, especially the KC, like 93-yarder or whatever it would have been, 95-yard touchdown, he could be looking at like a 500-plus yard game versus Notre Dame. A&M could have scored in the 50s or even touched 60 in that game if he connects on all of those balls. They're available to him, man. These receivers are separating. It's been nice. Auburn side is saying we're boomer bust. Look, we got to break that narrative because offensively, it's kind of been that way a little bit, right? Like you've started games slow and then all of a sudden you explode. And then like in the second quarters, like we talked about earlier, you score like 3 back-to-back, but then you go quiet a little bit. I think it'll come as Marcel calibrates more. This offense is off to such a great start. Marcel, the way he's seeing things, the percentage obviously isn't there yet, but he is seeing the defense so well. He is scanning the field so well. His eyes are so good right now. I think it's coming. I think the Auburn side's a little bit low on us. Mike B says Auburn wins this game. Maybe. Fighting Texas Aggies 41-28, says Jay. Good to see you, Jay. I love that score. Very close to mine. TX427, been feeling a little nervous about this game all week, but I'm suddenly feeling more confident. Ags 34, Auburn 24. With the cover. I love it. All right, a couple more read-offs, and I'll give you a couple more talking points going into this game. We'll get right into calls. After being trapped by App State, I'll never feel comfortable. I love it. We got a drink. Everybody take a sip of whatever you're sipping on because App State got mentioned tonight. But I hear you, Jonathan. Good to see you. I got A&M winning by a lot. Am I over-biased? What's a lot? What's a lot? That's pretty arbitrary. If you mean 10 to 14, no, you're not biased. That can happen. If you're saying 30, might be a little bit too much. But we could. Who knows? Who knows? All right. When we win, Marcel says, wish you were me. That's a funny throwback to Jackson Arnold right there. All right, guys, couple of talking points going into the game that I want to get out there. I already did the preview and prediction video. Y'all can go check that out. That's the latest video I posted on the channel. But just a couple of things I'm thinking about going into the game. Someone mentioned this. I think HB mentioned this. It's a very important start to this game, I think, because Auburn's on the road, and they feel like if they get a fast start, they can control the game better. Also, there's some intangibles working in this game. A&M's coming off of a bye week. Are we going to have a sleepy start? Are we going to be a little lackadaisical to start? We're going to take up a couple of drives to get things going offensively and defensively. That can't happen because Auburn, I don't know what to expect from them coming off of their intangible situation, coming off of that road game versus OU. They could be ready to light it up right away coming off of that intense game and that carries over, or they could also be a little hungover from that game. They could also be kind of maybe vulnerable at the start of this game, and A&M has a chance to start fast. So I think the start to this game is very, very much important because of two intangibles kind of working against each other going into this game. And let's be honest, last 3 games, A&M has started a little bit slow. Versus Notre Dame, you got a first down, then you went 3 and out, and then you got your punt block for a touchdown. That's a slow start. UTSA, you had a couple of stall-outs to start your offensive night. That's a slow start. Utah State, you had a penalty on your first kickoff return. You had to punt on your first drive. That's a slow start relative to the opponent. You score, and you let Utah State score right away. That's not a great start. You got to change that up this game. We heard Elko talk about this, how they are prioritizing energy and just being awake and alive this week of practice because you are coming off that bye week, and you know that's in the forefront of everything they're doing. Something to watch for sure. Let's see how the first, 3 or 4 possessions of each team go. That's going to go a long way setting the tone in this one. Offensively, I want to see this pass game continue. I want to see Marcel Reed to start, finding that chemistry, start calibrating on these deep shots, because I think this pass is poised and bound to set up this run, and I need that to happen sooner than later. Several reasons. Obviously, this running attack is great. We want to see these players do well. Every player that has got a carry for A&M besides one is averaging over 5 yards a carry for the team, and that includes your quarterback Marcel Reed because he hasn't only been sacked, I think, once on the year. But I really want this run game to get going so we can slow the game down a little bit when we need to. Because the thing about being so explosive on offense and being so pass heavy is you can be on and off the field quickly. And maybe that doesn't reflect necessarily dramatically in the time of possession in a game, but that can certainly affect moments in a game. Like you showed you can score in 2 plays like that Mario Craver touchdown. Or you could have 3 bad passes and go 3 and out like we saw versus Utah State and Notre Dame early in the game. And we saw in that Notre Dame game, there was a drive in that second quarter, not late in the game, in the second quarter, where we throw the interception, defense was just on the field, and they get to the goal line, and we are winded. We have Cassius Howell, leaning on players. They can't be on the field as much as a very, kind of quick offense can allow for. So I'm not saying you're just going to change your identity and just run the rock and force feed the run. I'm just saying as Marcel Reed develops, as this pass game becomes more and more proven, teams are eventually going to back off a little bit from that run because every game this year, they've been stacking the box, bringing the safety down, keeping an extra, split-second eye on the run game. And I think that's going to stop pretty soon because I think Mario Craver, after the bye week, Still the leading yards receiver in the SEC, if not the country. I haven't checked, but for sure in the SEC. You know he's on the scouting report now in a big way, right? Like, it's going to change, and I want to see that run game really start to get going. See Le'Veon Moss, Reuben Owens, even Amari, even Marcel. This thing has to get going to help this defense out a little bit. So that's something I'm looking at offensively. Auburn defensively is built from the trenches out. Again, we talked about at the top of the show. They're giving up a lot of explosives in the air. If you can protect, and we really like this offensive line, I think they will protect. We're protecting really well from the running back position as well. Amari Daniels had a hell of a day blocking against Notre Dame. Can protect against a pretty good front seven. There's going to be space allowed by the secondary for this high-level A&M receiver core. So I'm looking out for that. The run game will come. The run game will come. Don't need to force it. A&M has shown that they don't want to force it. We saw that versus UTSA even. Like, you could have force-fed the run game there. You had the option to, because you could have just leaned on them and out-physicaled and wore them down, but you didn't. You went to the pass. A&M's going to take what's available. Colin Klein's been doing a great job of that. When does the run game come? Defensively, it's where all of our big questions lie. It's where all of our uncertainty lies. It's kind of where the future of this team lies. Because I think we have a certain level of confidence in this offense. Can we get pressure on Jackson Arnold? Jackson Arnold might be seeing ghosts, man. Got sacked 10 times on the road in a very emotional, personal game for him going back to where he played before at OU. I'm looking at some individuals, man. I mean, Auburn has a good O-line. They're good. They've had a couple questions at tackle pass pro. You know, they didn't run block well against OU, and that is a different level front seven than what we have. And I like our front seven, but OU is like best in class. I'm looking for some individuals to get after it in pass pro. Of course, Cassius Howell. Can he pick up where he left off in that 3-sack game? I'm looking at DJ Hicks, man. DJ Hicks had his best game as an Aggie versus Notre Dame. Like 3 or 4 individual game-changing efforts in the game. Held his own the whole night. I think he comes off the bench for the team. I think Onyedem starts. I mean, what a freaking weapon DJ Hicks can be. And, of course, Albert Regis has been so good, so good. SEC Lineman of the Week, Albert Regis, on the road at Notre Dame. More of that, please. But I'm looking at Howell and Hicks to be those big game changers. And then I need another defensive end to step up on third down. Who's our second pass rush defensive end? You know, I think TJ Searcy has been really solid in his role. I think he's been really good at kind of just being stable and getting push and run defense and really holding his own there, being gap sound. I like that. But who's our other defensive end pass rusher, right? We had Mpemba get one late in the game. I don't know how much he's going to be playing early. We've seen Marco Jones get some flash. We saw Rylan Kennedy a lot in the first 2 games. Didn't play that much versus Notre Dame. Who's our other pass rush guy? Can Dayon Hayes get something going? I think he's had some pretty close moments, but can he get some consistency? I'm looking at these individuals on the D-line. I think we're doing a good job internally, defensive line. I actually think they're doing pretty well against the run at the defensive line level. But who is making Jackson Arnold uncomfortable? He's going to hold on to the ball. They're probably going to have an effort to get the ball out quickly this game. But when they do drop back, because they're going to want to drop back to get Cam Coleman involved at some point in the game, who's getting after him? Can we make him uncomfortable? Can we force him to see ghosts? Auburn is going to attack us in the running game differently than we've been attacked before this season. We saw a high-level running back versus UTSA week 1, individual effort. You know, we couldn't get him in open field. They capitalized on some of our busts. Really good running back. I think he's had like a 60-plus yarder run in every game he's played so far, Robert Henry. Versus Notre Dame, really good offensive line. One of the best offensive lines we'll see all year. Probably the best running back core we'll see all year. Held it to under 140 yards. That's pretty good. Auburn's going to attack us in a totally different way. Jackson Arnold, a true threat running the ball. Very athletic. He's blown up. He's gotten bigger. He's like 6 foot, 220 now, 6'1", 220. He's got some pretty good size about him. But it's Simmons and Singleton. They're going to get these guys moving in jet motion. They're going to be doing fake handoff quarterback runs. They're going to hand them the ball off, get them outside, jet sweeps. They're going to get them involved in RPOs, short game, catch and run game. A&M needs serious eye and assignment discipline this game. Gap sound. You must stick to your assignments, because what they did to Baylor that made them so effective running the ball that game is that as soon as that Simmons would run by and Jackson does the fake handoff and runs, the middle linebacker, whichever player it is that has that assignment of Arnold in that game, in that play, they're floating. They're floating. They're chasing that Simmons read. They're chasing that jet motion. And the lane just opens up in the middle. And that feels like an area that A&M could be exposed in. That feels like an area we need to take a step in right there, is that eye discipline. And if he does hand it out outside, hand it off outside, you can't let these guys get outside of us with room to run. We gotta we got to get outside contain in this game. You got to force them inside where your teammates are. And if we're linebackers trying to tackle outside, we got to remain flexible. We can't be getting washed up. We can't be attacking gaps recklessly without any room for adjustment, because I'm seeing players kind of get stuck and washed out, and outside runs are hitting a couple times. And of course, it's all getting better, but these are the explosive plays that can break your back. So this run game, as much as we're looking at Cam Coleman, we got to stop him. We'll talk about him in a second. This run game, they'll just lean on it if they can. They'll just go to it over and over and over again if they can. So I'm looking at Torian York. I'm looking at Damian Sanford or Scooby Williams, whichever one it is in the game. It could be some Jordan Lockhart out there. I'm looking at Marcus Radcliffe. He's been the exception to the rule. He has been so good for this defense. But the other safety has made some mistakes. I think Dalton Brooks, he had a couple of good plays. He had a couple of bad plays. And that's kind of the mixed bag we've been getting from the other safety spot. Going to Cam Coleman, still talking about the safety position. No Bryce Anderson this game. And I know we have some words and thoughts about Bryce in, run support and tackling angles and tackle form. Bryce was a pretty good cover man. He understood what he was seeing. He was our true free safety this year, and we really haven't rotated that position a lot this year. It's been Bryce, and then Ratcliffe and Brooks rotate box safety. You're going to be running 2 box safeties this game. It's going to be Ratcliffe and Brooks. We'll see if a Miles Davis can play. We'll see if any younger guy can play. A Jared Kerr has actually done well in mop-up duty this year. We'll see where else they go with it. But this safeties have a really big role in stopping Cam Coleman, because they're going to use Simmons. They're going to use Singleton in the short stuff and the quick hitters and the run game. But they're going to take their Cam Coleman shots. And let's talk about that matchup before we get into the calls. It's going to be Will Lee. He's the X receiver. They line him up on the boundary side of the field, the short side of the field, and that has typically been Will Lee's assignment this year. And Will Lee, a really strong, sturdy corner. He's really good at jamming. He's gotten beat a couple times on the comebacks, the curls, all those kinds of routes. He's been getting beat underneath. What Will Lee has not done this year, knock on wood, is give stuff up over his head. He has been solid in that regard. But where we've gotten blasted over the head is when we're in zone defense and we're not, getting our appropriate space, appropriate depth on zone coverage. And that's where the safety comes in. That's where Dalton Brooks comes in. That's where Marcus Radcliffe comes in. Whoever's going to play that high safety, probably Dalton Brooks. Can we play that wisely? Can we be assignment sound? I think we're going to shade. I think we're going to shade over Cam Coleman just to be safe, unless this team's just uber confident in the corners. And there's a chance they do that, and they just play base defense up there, and then they're not doing anything special for Cam, because we really like these corners. But it is Cam freaking Coleman. And what we saw versus OU, they started to shade late in that game. And that's when Auburn had a couple of good drives. Just check down. Jackson Arnold scramble. That's when they had their go-ahead touchdown late, was when they shaded over Cam Coleman, and they just kind of capitalized underneath when the defense was backing up. So we got to be very careful there. There's a fine balance there. I think the key to it all, though, is making Jackson Arnold uncomfortable, speeding him up. Like, if he sits in the pocket, we have to punish that. We can't just let him sit there and be comfortable, because there are going to be plays where he sits back and we get to the 3-second marker. By that point, there better be someone in his face. And I have faith in this team to do that. I think you're going to have room to run some late developing blitzes, to run some twists on passing plays, because he holds onto the ball so long on those clear passing downs. We can get to him, but we got to see some individual efforts. One quick note, special teams. They've been sloppy. They've made mistakes. We're pretty damn good at special teams. Tyler White, Micah, you've been talking about Tyler White all night. He has to have a good game when he's out there, but these returners have a chance to be really good. But specifically in these coverage teams, they're making mistakes fielding. They're fielding balls, inside the 3-yard line. They're getting penalties on those plays. Let's be disciplined. Let's invite them to make mistakes, and let's get some returns going, because they have not been sound on special teams. That's all I got. I wanted to cover this game one last time because, man, there's a lot to look for in this game. It's been 2 weeks. We're still very much in the learning process looking at this team. First SEC game. You had one Power 5 game under your belt so far. Only one. Let's see this thing keep going. I really want to see the defense this game. We'll do a couple more in the chat, then we'll get right into the calls. I see a bunch of people waiting in there. Let's see who we got in there so far right now. We got Tyler, Play to Win, Caps, Brian, J. Paul. We'll get to all you guys in just a minute. Let's see what you guys are saying. I'll read a few off. Waiting for Ryland to step up. Yeah, he needs opportunity. They were pretty tight with their rotation on the road at Notre Dame. They didn't play a lot of bodies. They didn't go super deep into the bench, and when they did, it was just for a few snaps. I think at home they'll be more willing to do that. Big opportunity for Ryland Kennedy Noble. I think he's the one. If we're looking for another D-end to be that pass rush guy, right now, I think it's Ryland Kennedy. Marco Jones will come on as the year goes on, but right now it's Ryland. I agree with you, Noble. Would love to see Marco Jones break out. That'll happen eventually. If it's sooner than later, so be it. That'd be great. Robert Henry's the nation's leading rusher. He's amazing, dude. He's amazing. Getting serious NFL looks. With Bryce out, I assume Dalton will get the majority of the snaps, but who do we think will rotate in to give him breathe? That's a great question. I don't know. Miles Davis, he was in on that play where we gave up the Robert Henry 70-yarder. He made a critical mistake on that play, and we really haven't seen him since. And last game versus Notre Dame, they didn't rotate that safety spot at all. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to throw a wild card out there and say Jared Kerr. Veteran. He was wearing like a knee sleeve or something or an arm sleeve recently. We'll see if he's good to go. Not on the injury report. You think Scooby's going to play? I would guess so. But right now it's questionable. Still 50-50. You think Kerr. I think Kerr too. Bold take, Des Ricks has been better and has earned his shot to go against Cam. Well, if they decide to match it up that way, sure. But the way A&M has been playing defense, they're just going short side of the field. Boundary side is your boundary corner, which is typically your corner that's the better jammer, that's the sturdier body, and that's clearly Will Lee. Des Ricks is on the field side, a little bit more agile, a little bit more free-flowing. That's how they've been going about it. We'll see if they adjust to that. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I think they still trust Will Lee, man. I haven't lost trust in Will Lee. Again, knock on wood, he hasn't given up anything over the top. Am I going live Saturday? I'll be at the game, so no. But I'll drop a video right after the game, and we'll go live probably midday Sunday, and we'll do a recap of the game. We'll get calls on Sunday. Kevin Hall says 44-34 Aggies. Wish the defense could play at the same level the offense is playing. I certainly will be more confident and less anxious, says Nez. Thank you for being here, Nez. Thank you, Kevin Hall. Thank you, everybody. All right, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, then we're going to come back and take the call. See a bunch of y'all waiting. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we're back. All right, let's get right into the calls. Again, guys, the call-in link is pinned in the chat. Click it. It's super self-explanatory. Just do it from your phone. Do it from a computer. Smart refrigerator. That's my bit. I always say that. And if you get the score prediction right, you're going to be that's the wrong page. You're going to be written in Sharpie on that Hall of Fame over there. I'm actually going to stand up for this segment so you guys can see the Hall of Fame. Because that's what we're teasing here. So we got to have it in the actual backdrop of the show in this part. All right. Let's get it going. Tyler, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
Hey, Drew, how are you?
Doing great, man. Ready for some football.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier about talking about quick scoring offenses. I mean, I think it's great to have, but it does put, some stress on your defense.
Yeah, it definitely does. I was keying in on that on the Notre Dame game. It was, I think, the second quarter. It was, after the pick. I mean, we had guys with hands on knees. We had to sub more than we probably would have in a normal situation. And I'm not just saying it has to be off of a turnover, but they score fast. They can have 3 and outs. We've seen all of that. So I just think as the pass grows, they're just doing what defenses are giving them right now. And that's eventually going to adjust. I think it might even be adjusted from the go this game because I think it's super well known what this A&M receiver corps can do now.
Yeah, I love kind of what the options are gonna be once, like, we have a great run game, but if Auburn's secondary isn't near as good as Notre Dame's, even though we thrashed Notre Dame, but
yeah.
I think if their linebackers, their front seven, I think their defensive line depth and sort of versatility is better than ours, and I think it's better than Notre Dame's. Talking about the D line.
I think their trenches, like their bulk and their ability to push, is better than Notre Dame's. I think Notre Dame's linebacker core is probably a little bit more athletic and quick, but they got some bodies, man, and they can thump. Yeah.
So I think if we can, like you said, we're probably just going to take what's given to us, knowing we can be successful either way. But of course, their run defense is better than their pass defense. So if we can really get the run going, I think it would be another statement, kind of like we're just better than you, and then on the other side of the ball, they have Cam Coleman. They don't have the greatest quarterback right now.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute threat. I think he's the best receiver in the SEC.
You know what's crazy, Tyler? I agree with you, but with the quarterback situation, he only has 13 receptions on the year. That would be good for tied for second on A&M, and there's just they don't get him the ball enough. They targeted him a ton versus OU, and you could see how lethal he was in that game. But it's a matter of Arnold figuring it out because there are opportunities. He's going to create opportunities against whoever he's going up against. But that's why I think that the true key to beating Cam Coleman this game is probably beating Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, and I think they're probably drilling in his head, like, look, get it out quick, get the ball out quick, get the ball, you know. And that's fine, but eventually that's going to be a mistake. And I think the way Elko runs, we don't really do a whole lot of stunts and pass rush kind of mix-ups, but I do think our coverage assignments and like the way we cover is disguised differently to opposing quarterbacks. And so I think he's going to get the ball out quicker, but I think at some point it's going to be to his detriment. And it's kind of a business decision. Like, you know, if you're an Auburn staffer, you're thinking like, yeah, it's going to eventually happen, but it's better than taking 10 sacks.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. I'm really worried about a free safety position. I don't know, you know, because that's like we really need that this game for Cam Coleman, like you said, to kind of shade over. You know, it's got to be Dalton Brooks, right? I mean, who else could it be?
It's going to be Dalton. He's the one that steps in.
So we're going to give up some. I think Cam Coleman's going to get, you know, 100 yards, couple touchdowns. But it's all just about mitigating the inevitable sort of not a disaster, but just mitigating what they're obviously going to be good at.
Yeah, and I think like kind of almost expect Cam Coleman to do something in this game. I think anybody who plays Cam Coleman is going to expect at least something. We can't let him go crazy. You give up 100, you give up a touchdown. That's fine. But how are you doing underneath? How are you stopping the run? Here's one thing that A&M has had a couple of struggles with. It's like on those quick curls, those quick comebacks, like the Y sticks, that kind of stuff. We don't tackle well on those. Against Notre Dame late in that game, we were letting them kind of spin out and just get an extra 3 yards. It's 3 yards, but it's the first down. So we gotta get guys on the ground there because we're probably gonna favor that deep shot a little bit on passing downs. That's okay. We can give those up if you tackle Tyreek Chappelle, the linebackers, whoever it might be, Marcus Radcliffe. I think the culprit in that realm was largely linebacker and nickel last game, and we just got to get guys on the ground right there because they got some lethal threats. I mean, Simmons and Singleton are no joke.
Yeah, for sure. Singleton's a burner. We're kind of peeling off those Notre Dame players when we would try to tackle underneath, weren't we? I mean, we just getting them down. So, we really need to see improvement there. You know, Willie needs to step up. York needs to step up. I think they – well, I don't know. But that's just what I hope to see. And I don't know what the deal with Ryland Kennedy is, but I always thought – I remember 2 seasons ago thinking, oh, this next season – he's going to be a monster because his flashes were like, wow, he looks really good. His physique looks good. And I remember as a recruit, Saban really wanted this guy. So I really thought at this point he would be a locked in starter on one side of the defensive line. Cersei, he's probably still your run support guy, but like you were saying, who's that secondary edge rusher? But we have Hayes, we have Mpemba, and say that guy's name. Oh, I can't think of it.
Jones, Ryland Kennedy. Honestly, we've seen a couple of big plays from Kennedy this year. It hasn't been an explosion. It hasn't been anything crazy. But I think of all those guys, like I said, he's the one that has like the tangible step ahead of him on those third down plays. I think he's the first guy in on those pass rush plays when you're going to the bench. I mean, obviously they're leaning on their main guys, but I think coming home, someone's going to get a look because you were, like I said, you're pretty tight leashed with your rotation on the road at Notre Dame. And we need that because they've shown some vulnerability pass pro with the tackles through the whole season a little bit. They're a pretty good O-line. It's a good O-line. But where they're the weakest has been those tackles getting back in pass pro. So it's such a big part of this game because maybe we'll blitz, maybe we'll show blitz, maybe we don't bring blitz. Whatever happens, we need a DN to step up. That's not Cassius Howell because Cassius Howell can't do it all.
Definitely. And you don't want Auburn to control the clock with running the ball
For sure.
Certainly the whole game. And what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to score fast. Um, it's kind of like what we need to see, but it's in stages, right? So don't let them score fast. Okay, if they do score fast, don't let them get a turnover and get the ball back.
Yeah.
And then
It would be wise of them to try to shorten this game, right? Run the ball, burn some clock, control possessions.
right,
I mean, because right now we're explosive and lethal on offense, but we've had some bad drives. We've had some duds, and you get less shots in that chamber if you're limiting possessions. So they'd be smart to keep it short, to bring us in, and then try to hit Cam Coleman selectively.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I'm sure they're ready for this. I'm sure they're aware of what they're going to try to do. And versus OU, that's the recent sample size we're all looking at. But you have to imagine that was a very custom game plan against maybe the best front seven in the conference. So things are going to be different, man. They're going to treat this probably more similarly to that Baylor game, even though obviously A&M's more formidable, I think, than Baylor in the trenches. But I think it'll look more like that.
Yeah, they're going to be creative with it too. Arnold can pull it and run. He can scramble. But yeah, they're gonna. I think they're gonna have creative runs to try to control the clock, exploit our run D, and someone's just gonna have to step up. And so this is definitely kind of someone said it earlier, just like this is a good game to show defensive improvement. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's an opportunity.
It's a great opportunity. One more thing I was gonna say. As far as the overthrows with Reed, those are so like micro, just kind of barely overthrowing him, right? But it happened 2 or 3 times last game, right? And it's happened before, but I mean, we could have won that game anyway. How much do you think that could have been? Like, how much in practice these past 2 weeks do you think they just were like, go balls, let's go?
Everything, man. That's in the forefront. Him and Casey are getting extra work in. Like, I think it's a calibration, man. You're playing with a new receiver core for the 3rd year in a row if you're Marcel Reed, or 4th year dating back to high school. So he's seeing it, right? He's seeing these plays. He's missed some, but he's missed way less. Like, seeing things less than he did last year. He missed a lot more last year, just missing players. But now he's just kind of got to get that. How much air do I put on this ball? How much do I sling it? Can I calm down and deliver the good ball? I think it's going to come, and to your point, I think they've drilled the hell out of that these last 2 weeks, especially with a bye week opportunity. I mean, come on, they were hammering that. But all right, Tyler, let me get a score prediction from you, and I'll get you out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Hold on.
52-10.
24 Auburn. 38 A&M.
38-24. Very possible, man. In the realm of possibility. Well, all right, Tyler. I appreciate the call, man. We'll talk after the game.
Yes, sir.
All right, later. All right. Thank you for the call, Tyler. There's the Hall of Fame. I'm going to sit back down. I just wanted to showcase this to show that y'all are in the backdrop in my room, hanging on the wall for eternity if you get the score prediction right in the game. All right. Speaking of score predictions, Play to Win had a real interesting one. I want to hear him talk about it. Play to Win. You're on with Drew. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great right now, man. I'm just glad we're back on. It's Thursday evening and we're doing the show, and it's been a while. It seems like a month.
I'm telling you, man, I woke up today. I'm trying to get this thing focused, by the way, guys. I woke up today feeling like I can't wait to watch this team again. It's been so long.
Yes. How was your birthday weekend, by the way?
It was great. I was actually in College Station. My wife won us a weekend stay at a 4-star hotel in College Station, the George. It's a nice hotel right there by Northgate. We had a good time. It's just always good to be back in town. A little bit of a quieter weekend, not a game day weekend. So it was good. Had a good time.
Yeah, well, that's a good place to spend the weekend.
Yeah, especially after the win. Yeah.
Yeah, after that. And I was going to tell you, I watched the Auburn OU game. I'm going to tell you, I was not impressed with Auburn at all. You talk about Cam Smith, and he is a good running back. I mean, Jackson,
Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold he gets sacked 9 times. Look, man, if we can on big down situations, starting long, you get them 4 or 5 times is going to make a big difference in the game.
Yeah.
About their
We
scoring.
don't need 10. We don't need 10. Give me 5.
No, give me 5. And last week, look, we played Notre Dame and scored 41 against them. And the most Auburn could do was 17 points against OU, and that's only because OU was a little bit stronger football team. Just they were a little bit 24 points. I mean, it was 24-17 was the final. So you're thinking, 49-17. Well, that's a lot. Yeah, that's 7 touchdowns. And I'm really going out, like, I guess, on a limb and just saying we can do it. I can see us scoring 3 in the air, 2 on the ground, and Marcel rushes for one of them. And then maybe a couple off our special teams, maybe a punt return, kickoff return, Terry Bussey, like the other night when he did. He got called back court. But, we really look sharp against a stronger football team. And I'm not trying to take nothing away from Auburn, but you got to look at that game. And I was just like, dude, you're not
that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
No, he's not impressing me, And then, Colin Klein, you know what he's liable to do? Colin's liable to do is call an up-tempo game, and we're going to go no huddle, and we're going to attack. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking Colin's going to pull one out. Nobody's seen it yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen the no huddle.
Oh, there's a wrinkle coming, man. You got 2 weeks to prepare for a team, a very important game, a tone setter for the SEC. You better bet that there's going to be something special just for Auburn coming right up.
Yeah, because of that, we want to get that monkey off our back. Big game, bye week. We come back and promptly lose at home, and we're about to get that monkey off our back. I just don't, we're going to have a great game. Like we box up 5 guys against Jackson Arnold, and one of them's going to get through. One's going to get through that pocket and nail him. Or we might go ahead and just send, a safety blitz. We used to call red dog, blue dog. Which side, whichever one's going to go.
Yeah.
And run him in too on a big down. And they'll be expecting it, But I mean, especially 3rd and long, we're probably going to run that kind of a defensive scheme, and I can see it. And it's probably going to work more than not. And we're going to get some sacks. I mean, it's going to be our front 4 is going to have a good time, and that 5th is going to have a good, whoever they send in. I don't know, Scooby.
Yeah. And with what we saw from Jackson Arnold, if they indeed, they could just totally fade the drop back passing game, but they're eventually going to drop back. You're going to have time to develop some more exotic blitzes, man. You can bring your corners in, you can bring your nickels in, because Jackson holding on to it. If he's still doing that, I mean, you have a chance to get creative here.
Yeah, and I miss Bryce, and I mean, he's got to get well.
I'm glad he's okay.
That's number one.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yes, I'm glad he's okay, and he's doing well. But not well enough. I don't think there's no way. Even use them sparingly, in the game Saturday. I don't even think that's going to happen. They don't want to chance it.
Yeah.
And,
no.
Just let him heal up. Maybe Arkansas. It might go that far.
Yeah, I think that could be reasonable for him to come back. It's just like, I think that's just a terrible, terrible concussion, and he can come back, but you have to be very careful with those things. Leave no doubt, get better. But all right, Play to Win, I'm going to tell you what. I like your score prediction a lot. Play to Win went 49-17. That is utmost confident in our Aggies coming home to do it. If you get your score prediction right, Play to Win, I'm not only going to write you on the Hall of Fame, I'm going to send you a handwritten letter. All right? If you score it right, I'm sending you a handwritten letter. All right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like the bold prediction. I like the confidence. If you nail it, we're coming back. I'll do it. We're coming right back to it, Play to Win. I love it, man.
Sounds great.
All right. You have a great night, man. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, you too, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. After the game. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Moving right along. Caps, you have the floor. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Feeling great, man. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm itching.
Yeah, Kyle Field's going to be pretty awesome. I wish it was a night game. It's still hot.
It is still hot, and we're wearing all maroon. I hope we're ready to sweat.
Yeah. Well, come on. It's Texas. So it'll only be night games, right? Yeah,
that'd be smart.
Right?
A little too smart.
Are you excited? I think we match up pretty well against Auburn, and that Oklahoma game was pretty brutal. against Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to the intangibles, man. They have this big hurdle of not letting that game get them twice, because that is one of those emotionally draining, physically draining games. They got to travel again. They're jumping on a plane tomorrow to come to Texas in the heat. I mean, that's a tough ask for them, and it could go one of two ways. It could light them up. They could have a spark, or it could slow them down.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the injury report against Auburn, but they've got some pretty huge weapons that are listed as probable, or Horatio Fields not even going to play. I mean, Cobb is basically their only running back. The other two are injured. So if he's dinged up in this game, that's going to be a huge blow.
Yeah, I think their center was on the injury report, and he's been really good for them. They're kind of built from the interior out on that offensive line. Center's really good. He's on the report. I think they're one of their corners is on the report. I think they're both going to play, but to what level?
Yeah, the only player that wasn't listed was Jackson Arnold for his brain. That guy is
Sheesh.
It's pretty rough. Most of those sacks were just because he was holding on to the ball for more than 4 seconds. I don't know what he was looking at.
You know what? This is rude, but I'm going to say it. The evaluation that I hear about this team sometimes is like, well, only half of them are really on the O-line. The other half were on Arnold. Well, that's still 5 sacks. Divide it however you want. 5 on each is not good in a given game, let alone both of them combined. Yeah, he probably has a headache. Yeah, he's probably not feeling the best. And it's part of the story in this game. How does he respond from that?
It reminds me of that video that Auburn reporter at the beginning of the year leaked, with Hugh Freeze freaking out against Jackson Arnold, like, make a decision, you know?
Yeah, that's still happening.
Apparently, and I guess that's what you saw against, when he played at Oklahoma. It's a
crazy thing, man, because he has every weapon you could ask. An O-line that's definitely good enough. I mean, he has a good running back in Cobb. They have another backup who's playing who is a really good blocker for them on passing downs. But the receivers, man, like, he has all the toys, and he's just not connecting with them. He's not making the decisions yet. But I say, as bad as it's been, as inconsistent as it's been, I should say, he's like, just to be fair, a flip of the switch away from being the leader of a dynamic offense. So that's kind of like the part that's like, okay, we can't let him find it. We cannot allow that to happen, and that's kind of our side of the story here.
Do you think it's just because they were trying to throw the ball down the field all the time, or what?
Well, they almost had success doing it that way, because they missed Cam Coleman on like 2 touchdowns. I mean, Jackson Arnold just missed on a couple of them, and I don't know if that's him seeing ghosts. I don't know if that's him calibrating, like we talk about Marcel Reed calibrating. I mean, he's a new quarterback to that receiver core, so there's probably some of that calibration there. But I don't know, man. And then later in the game, they kind of took away that deep ball, and they actually had their most success that way, scoring that touchdown late, because they were able to hit stuff underneath and just kind of nickel and dime their way down the field. So we got to find the balance. We got to take away Cam Coleman and just not get gashed on the ground. That's the challenge for this defense.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what they're going to do offensively, probably quick passes, try to easy passes, get Arnold's confidence going or something. But really, I think the story is going to be their running back, a hip, whatever. Yeah, problem with his hip. I don't know. If he's not able to go 100% against A&M, it's going to be a long day for him.
I didn't see that report. Which was that, Cobb?
Yeah, that's Cobb. Cobb is listed as probable. They said he had some sort of hip injury and probably missed some practice time. But I guess that doesn't really matter for a running back. But still, yeah. I mean, it's a lengthy list for Auburn as far as dudes that are either questionable or probable. So, and obviously losing your third wide receiver, the dude had 12 catches, 100 yards, broken foot or whatever. It's terrible.
I hate that. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Obviously it helps us, but we're still not rooting for. That's terrible. It sucks.
Oh yeah. No, but okay. Now Auburn, we're a more talented team than they are. But a couple of the players, a couple of weeks ago that stepped up that really surprised the shit out of me. Damian Sanford, that guy, once Scooby went down, that dude was a difference maker the rest of the game. I mean, one of the only sacks we got was because of him. And that big fourth down stop as well. That dude can really play. He really showed a lot. And, maybe the reason why Ryland Kennedy didn't play so much is because, he's a pretty slight defensive end, and Notre Dame is a bruising team. You wonder if maybe a guy like him or Marco Jones can really step up and make a bigger difference in this game and get a lot more snaps. So.
Yeah. I think also coming home and some of these guys are younger, I think it could be inviting to play some more guys and lengthen that leash a little bit. Just FYI, as we anticipated, he's off the injury report today on the updated one, but that's still a factor, like you were saying. Like, is he 100%? We'll see, man. I don't know. But right now it's just the two guys that were out, Horatio Fields included, and then a defensive end, and then that center, Connor Liu, really good player for them, is probable. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if it factors into the game. But any closing thoughts before you get to your score prediction?
Kyle Fields going to be awesome. You got to love Le'Veon Moss's comments about that playing in Notre Dame, and then
awesome.
It was pretty great.
How many one-liners does Le'Veon Moss have up his sleeve, dude? It's like he's shooting like 100%. Every time you give him a mic, he barely talks. He's so quiet, but he always drops a banger. It happens every time.
Yeah, him and Mario Craver, those dudes are fun listens, and congrats to Craver for inking even more money, buddy. Way to go, dude.
Yeah, Beats by Dre, right? That was the latest one.
Yeah, so there's more to be had, so keep going, right?
Absolutely.
But I just think that this is a pretty good matchup. Although Auburn's defense is quietly very good.
Yep.
And I know Notre Dame, they're Notre Dame, but look, Purdue put up 30 points against Notre Dame's defense. So Purdue sucks. Everybody knows that. Like that's a huge problem.
Purdue.
Yes, they are per shit anyway. But no, they're terrible, and that was really scary to me, to be honest. 30 points.
I'll say this.
What the
yes.
hell?
Yeah. I'll say this though. We thoroughly waxed Notre Dame's defense for the most part. Like, it's not like we struggled at all against a defense that might not be that good, and we left 14 points on the board. So I think we're still in a good spot offensively. But you're right; it felt bad to see that. Come on, Purdue, dude. Come on, hold.
Yeah, well, what the hell?
Make us look
Notre
good.
Dame. Yeah, come on. I mean, you're supposed to be the Domers. I know you're going on the road, but come on, that was crazy. So Auburn's defense might be equal to Notre Dame. I don't really know. But you like what we were able to do. And we still really haven't even seen the running attack yet. Not at full bore. So, and thankfully so. You don't want those guys to get worn down like Cobb, Anyway, but it should be really fun. I'm really excited about this game. Now, traditionally, A&M always loses these games. But I think if you look at that Notre Dame game and the way we won, the curse has been lifted, man. The demons have been exorcised. We are flying high. We are holy.
Curse is broken, people. The curse is over.
Yeah. Elko has banished. He sent the demons into a bunch of pigs, and the pigs ran off a cliff. So we're good. Everything's good.
Yeah, that's how one banishes demons. That's how one would do it, and he did it.
Well, that's what Jesus did. Anyway, whatever. All right. Prediction time. I'm kind of upset because the Tyler kind of took my score. It's 38-24. We're going to win by 2 scores. This is going to be the real statement. I know Notre Dame was a great win. Okay, sure. But this is where we really chart our path. First SEC opponent, starting this home slate, starting off strong. 38-24 eggs, dude.
Love it, Caps. All right, man. Great call again. You have a good one.
Hey, I listened to a couple of these talking heads, about A&M and all. You're the best. You're the best talking head we got out there. Looking at you, Texags and Olin Buchanan, freaking Olin. Buchanan.
You know
that
what?
Guy. I can't. Elmer Fudd. Jesus.
I can't hit the Notre Dame fighting fairy the way he does though. I can't do the Olin in that regard. But I appreciate the words, Caps. Olin catching strays wasn't necessary, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. All right, Caps.
You don't want to go down the Olin route, freaking Olin Buchanan. Who names their child Olin? Don't you have a middle name? Like Jack. Jack Buchanan. It sounds great. Olin? Like, brother, what is that?
His words, not mine. I will say one really impressive thing about Olin Buchanan is that when he gets any kind of laryngitis or a cold, his voice just completely becomes like a Ram commercial voice. And that is a pretty sick attribute to have. All right, Caps, you have a good night.
All right, you too, buddy. See ya.
Later. Great call from Caps once again. That guy's awesome. That's the second time calling in. Caps might become a regular here, but so far, score predictions, I'll show you them so far for the Hall of Fame competition. We have Tyler, 38-28, along with Caps. Play to win with the super bold prediction here. If he gets that one, I'm sending him a handwritten letter. That's just what's going to have to happen here. He went super bold. I have to respect the boldness. Brian, you're on with Drew. What's on your mind tonight, Brian?
Hey, Drew, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. Excited for some football. It's been a while.
I hear you, man. I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got a couple things I want to talk about with you, man. We got to tackle. I was going to call last week after the Notre Dame game, but I was floating, and I felt like if I call, I'm going to get out of hand.
Yeah.
And
It's happened before.
So yeah, I mean, even in that game, we're arm tackling. We're still doing it. It's been a problem for years now, I feel like, and we got to work on it. And we have people, even Torian York, who's a leader on this team. He's coming in, taking bad angles on tackles, and we're just throwing arms out there, man. It's tough to see, but I hope that's something we addressed this off week, and we'll see. We'll definitely find out.
Yeah, it's a good time to have the off week on that front, on the passing accuracy and that calibration front. But yeah, man, and I was just talking about this with Tyler, some of those quick routes that they can throw to Simmons and Singleton. If you're not tackling right there on the spot, they're getting extra yards. Those guys, pretty lethal. I don't know if they're KC lethal with the ball in their hands, but they're up there, especially Singleton, man. They haven't really gotten him going this year. At the linebacker and nickel level, that's of paramount importance this game. It's absolutely right, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to touch on that too. 2 weeks ago when we played Notre Dame, I watched the Tennessee and the Georgia game beforehand, and I see Heupel and the OC dialing up these plays for Joey Aguilar to hit these quick slants in that first possession, just to kind of get the motor running, get some momentum going. And then I watch us, and we start so slow. I don't know what we're trying to do. I wish we could dial some sort of package up for Marcel, because we got to start. We got to start hot in this game. If we come out slow off this bye, it's not going to be good. It could get out of hand pretty quick. I'd love to see us dial up some quick slants, just something, these high percentage throws, and just kind of get the motor running, man. Get the blood flowing, and hopefully get it out of hand for us.
Yeah, I love that because, on those quick hitters, you have maybe some of the most lethal duo in those kind of plays in the country. So even if you're just trying to get in rhythm, you can find chunk yards in that. And I think that's a great strategy. Of course, everything's scripted early on. We'll see how they go about it this game.
Yeah, for sure. I think the run game is important here. It's something we haven't really broken out, and I don't think we need to. And I'm hoping that our strategy here is to let Marcel throw the ball. Let's let him get comfortable. We had a couple cupcake games. We had a big game against Notre Dame. We're really leaning on the pass. We're trying to get some connections going. So I hope that this game, maybe we come out, we hit downhill hard, we get a lot of chunk run plays, and we kind of assert ourselves as the run team that we really thought we were going to be.
Yeah, it's on the table because teams are eventually going to adjust to this threat of pass, especially as Marcel starts connecting on that deep ball. And we know what this run game can be, and it's been that in a very, very, very small sample size, at least relative to our expectations. Again, all but one of our runners are averaging over 5 yards a carry, but we haven't hammered that run game. We haven't controlled games with that run game. And again, to help the defense out, that's important too. Give them some rest, give them some breather. So I'm totally with you. That's kind of like a question I'm looking at going into this game. Is this the game it starts happening? And another factor here, we made it 4 weeks into a season with these running backs that are coming off of injury, getting healthier now off of a bye week. They have to start feeling really good about that at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a deep room. It's something we talked about this whole off season coming into the season, and even as the season started. And I did see, I don't know if you saw, but Jamar and Morrow sat down and he kind of had this get to know you. So, I mean, the future's bright. I actually went to the Tennessee State championship game and I saw him. I'm not going to lie to you. He won't ever say it, but that team he was on was not good. He single-handedly carried that team to the state championship. I watched a lot of film going into that game. He was the star, so much so that they put him at quarterback just so they could guarantee he has the ball in his hands every single play. It was interesting to see. He's a great player, and like I said, the future looks bright at that position at least.
Yeah, and if you could hold on some commits right now, you also have Tiger Ryden. That room looks really, really bright, and we've seen it in spurts this season already, how explosive he is and just how much instinct he has in his game. I'm excited to see it. He might get another carry or two this game. It's a great room, man. Le'Veon is clearly the lead guy right now. He had 20 carries last game, which I thought was significant. I didn't think we'd get 20 out of him by Notre Dame. I thought it'd be maybe 15 max, but feeling good, man. Feeling good about this room for sure. What's your score prediction, Brian?
Man, I'm looking at the lines here. Here, I'll tell you what I did actually before I get my score. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna bet Auburn with the points just to hedge my depression. So the over they got the over under at 52.5. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go 35-17. And much to the despair of the over bettors, just under. And I think we come out of this game looking bright at the future, and hopefully, we've officially broken the curse.
Yeah, I mean, holding them to 17 would be a major boon for this defense because that would show true progression against the threatening offense. I love it, Brian. Great call. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts, like I said, let's get some tackling done. Let's go out there. I think I might quit my second job so I can just watch football all day. I don't know. And I pray that I go in, I get off at 5 o'clock. I hope this game's over because that means we ran the ball all over them. Yeah. And it was a quick game. I would love to see that. But other than that, no, man, I'm good. I appreciate the time.
Awesome. Great call, Brian. You have a good night.
You too, man. God bless. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Great call from Brian. All right, another good score prediction, 35-17. Couple of y'all predicting Auburn to score 17 in the game. Him and play to win. That would be a great, great step in the right direction for this defense. Jay Paul, you're on. How you feeling, my friend?
Man, I'm ready to go. How about you?
So ready to go, man. Like I've been saying, it feels like it's been a long time since we see the team. You just want to pick up where you left off, but I think the bye was good. I think it was good to avoid, maybe getting a little sweet on your own scent, and hopefully it ends up being a benefit to the team.
Yeah, it can go one of two ways,
Yeah, for sure. It's a big aspect in this game. It's a big factor in this game.
That was definitely a physical game that OU played, with Oklahoma. So we'll see. It looked like the defensive end went down at the end too. He didn't come back in. I don't know if he was on the injury report.
Yeah, he actually is. I think that's him. I don't know his number, but his name is Amaris Williams. Yeah, he's probable though. So I think they'll just be a team that they end up getting most of their guys playing, but just to what level, how crisp are they coming off of that game? Again, like there's that intangible factor on both sides. A&M off the bye week, is it good or bad for you? And then Auburn off the OU game, are they able to kind of just get that energy right away, or is there like some lingering effects from that physical slugfest?
Yeah, this is the one we got to find out, right? We've done this before where we thought we were taking the next step. So
yep.
But before we talk about that, just let me know, what do you think about Archie and Notre Dame? Who you got there?
That is a tough one. I think, what's Archie, like a 5-point favorite? Notre Dame a 5-point favorite on the road at Notre Dame, right? And it's like a 64 over under, something like that. I am reluctantly taking Arkansas and laying the points. Notre Dame and laying the points. I think they're good enough to score on Arkansas's defense and keep up with that Arkansas scoring attack. I think their defense, it's not what it was last year, but I think it's just good enough to let that offense come up on top in the game. I have them winning by a touchdown to 10, something like that. A pretty competitive game, but it's super intriguing too. One past opponent, one future opponent. Big game on both sides. Arkansas to turn their season around. Obviously, Notre Dame's in a must-win situation. Give me Notre Dame just covering.
This may be Sam Pittman's last game.
Dude, you know what's crazy about that too is that he was in position to win both of those last two games, and a fumble lost it for them at the end in both of them. It's like, man, how quickly things can change.
Exactly. Just think about our game versus Notre Dame. If we would have come up short, how people have been talking about how Marcel can't hit a deep ball,
it's crazy how just the win and loss column, a single play can just change the entire perception.
Yeah, I think I got Ole Miss beating LSU. How about you?
I do too. I have Ole Miss winning that one. I don't think LSU's very crisp on offense right now. Defense is looking good, but I think Ole Miss is looking really good offensively. I have Ole Miss in a very close game.
I think this is where LSU really starts to go off the rails. I think it's going to be the start of it right here, though.
That there's a good chance that is the case. That now the other way it could go is Nussmeier starts feeling healthier. The O-line protects a little bit better against an Ole Miss defense that is good, but maybe not upper echelon. Maybe he can get it going this game, but that offense has just been surprisingly choppy, and the defense has been surprisingly really good. So we'll see, man. It's a very intriguing game. I think that game is the same time as ours or a little bit after ours. So hopefully we win and we can enjoy the end of it.
Yeah. Hey, let's just talk about the Aggies for a little bit because my nephew's he's making his first start at varsity. It's about halftime almost over here. So
nice, man.
Golden
Congrats.
Range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, just going back and watching that OU game, I'm not thrilled with OU's offense. I don't think they're very explosive. Even I don't know how you say it, Mater or Matter,
Mateer.
but Mateer, yeah. I mean, I don't know how this guy was in the Heisman talk even. I look back at going all the way back to Washington State. He's never had a game with a QB rating over 140. I think we're way more explosive too on the edges as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know Auburn does feel overall good about their defensive performance in that game, but I think A&M just brings so much more offensively to the table. I think O-line, A&M is much better offensive line-wise, I think, than OU. It's a young O-line that OU has. And just, yeah, weapons. Running back, OU does not really have a running game. They just don't have running backs. They're not run blocking. And at receiver, they have some good players, but A&M has maybe one of the better duos in the country. So it should be a totally different look for their defense, an entirely different look.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch that Baylor game too, they had success, and
yeah,
it was just some really bad play calling on fourth down. I don't know what those guys were thinking there.
Yeah,
Baylor would have been in that game, I think the QB went for almost 500 yards in that one. But what surprised me about that OU game, I don't remember Durkin playing this. Maybe you do. I never saw him play press man. That's pretty much what they went to the entire second half against OU.
Yeah.
I think if they do that against us, I think we'll have success.
Yeah. I mean, we have guys that can create separation. Colin Klein's been real cognizant against press man to move guys around and create space that way. So I'm excited, man. And plus, I don't think they're getting the best level play from their secondary. Their defense is definitely built from the D-line out. So there could be major opportunities there, and it's going to be, again, about Marcel Regis dialing it up and honing that deep ball in and continuing to hit where he is hitting. I think he's doing pretty good against zone defense, fitting balls into the soft spots. Receivers are kind of sitting well in zones. That needs to be kept up. And then we just got to connect on the ones that are there, man. That could just change this offense. As good as it already is, I mean, you're not going to feel great about it until you're actually hitting your capabilities, and that deep ball is what you need next.
Yeah. I mean, going back and looking at it, so what I think would help Marcel a lot is if he tried to get rid of it a little earlier.
Yes.
Because he's just going back and just winging that thing as hard as it can. When you do that, you can't put that much air under it, so it's more flat, right? So
yeah, and we saw that versus UTSA. That was the same situation. He sees it, but he just needs to get into his natural throwing form. It seems like he's just kind of slinging it late, to your point. So yeah, timing, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's really him syncing up with his receivers. They all basically run about the same. It's about 1.2 seconds every 10 yards. So if he's able to get the ball out in about 2.5 seconds, he'll be able to connect on a lot more of those. That'll give him time to see if he's going to be able to beat the safety to the spot or not. But that's definitely one thing I'm going to watch for. And our defense, you say somebody but Hal. I mean, Hal, besides that one series, right? Does he have any other sacks at all?
No sacks, but I thought he was solid in the running game last game. I thought he was disruptive. I thought he beat his man a lot. I thought he was pretty sturdy. There was one play he got beat by getting caught going too far downfield, getting too caught up in his pass rush, which, of course, was a 3rd and long, and we've been getting gashed on those this year. But I think he's been really solid in run support and just being disruptive outside of getting sacks. And our pass rush was not good, was not there versus Notre Dame. That's a fact. But in the first 2 games, Howell was 6 pressures in game 1, 3 sacks in game 2, multiple pressures in game 2. I mean, he's been the one generating sacks when we've been at it, getting pass rush.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see him backing up in coverage on 3rd down anymore. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. It's just, I thought we got rid of that when we got Durkin out of here, but I don't know what they see. I have no idea. Obviously, he almost got a pick on one of it, but I'd rather have the pressure, especially against Jackson Hall. This dude is like the definition of a one-read quarterback, so we'll have time to get there. So
that's what I'm saying. Draw some stuff up, get creative, man. He's not getting the ball out quickly right now. You have time to let things develop, maybe a split second longer this game when he's dropping back. But I'm sure Auburn's going to have a very distinct effort to get that ball out quickly to run the ball this game. I'm sure that's there. I'm sure they saw OU's front 7 and said, let's just let's drop back and hit Cam Coleman. And that was the look early in the game and late in the game. He was dropping back a lot, but I think we'll get a different approach from them this game. But when he does drop back, yes, that's a key point in this game. We have to generate pressure. These guys have to step up.
They're not going to throw the ball 30 times against us unless they get behind quite a bit. It's going to be a lot more like Baylor.
Yes.
They're going to look for Jackson to probably throw it 14 or 15 times maybe. Stopping him is going to be the key on those counters and the reads. This is nightmare scenario for York, the way he's played so far. So we'll have to see if he can get there to him. I don't know if he can get anything on the ground right now, but he's definitely got to step it up. Our D-line has to bottle him up, one of the two,
Yeah.
But that's the other thing I'll be looking for in York, see how he does here. I mean, I know he needs
to have a bounce
favorite,
back.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's, I hate to say it, but he's hurting the team right now. I just don't think there's anyone behind him who could step up. I don't think Lockhart is that guy. But hopefully he figures it out this game. We'll see. But
York is the kind of guy that cannot afford a false step. He cannot afford to be wrong because he doesn't have the athleticism to cover ground. So he just has to be right. And something about York that we see a lot outside of just mistakes he's making and just being wrong. He had a bad game versus Notre Dame. Let's be clear. Right? Like he did very bad. He was good against UTSA, but different level of opposition. He had a bad game. He needs to bounce back. Sometimes he gets too caught up, I think, in the leadership role. He's like yelling back to the 3rd level, and that's good, but he's doing it right as the play is getting snapped, and he finds himself a half step behind right away. York cannot be a half step behind. So looking for a bounce back. They had the bye week. He's very aware of the game he had. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, our defense as a whole, it's not very complimentary of each other. Like if you look at that Notre Dame where Love bounced it for like a 20-yard touchdown, you'll see Howell goes inside, right? He does a slant, and Ratcliffe is coming up, and what does he do? I mean, this is 101, right? If he's going inside, you've got to take the outside. Instead, Ratcliffe goes inside too, and it's just walking.
Was this the touchdown on the left side? Is that what it was? The touchdown on the left side?
Yeah,
that was. I think that was Price, and that was. I think it was Brooks. I think that was Brooks who just invited the outside rush there. He did not force him inside. That was a brutal play. That was one of the plays we're looking at saying this is what we need to get rid of with this defense. That was the poster child of it. And then some busts late in the passing game too.
Yeah. On that, on the, what was it? The flea flicker. I don't know what Brooks was doing. He went to the other side of the field. There was no one going out. I'm like, oh Lord.
Let's see what they can clean up, man. That's a big aspect of this game. The deep ball's coming at least a couple times to Coleman. They're gonna do it.
I'd be surprised if they do it more than once or twice. For them, that's almost a wasted down. So I think they're just going to pound the rock. That's their only choice. And and I think we can stop them as long as we don't do like Baylor. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. They came out in too high. It just made no sense. I thought Dave Aranda was supposed to be this defensive genius too. I don't know. I'm not seeing much from him.
And they were just not ready for the run attack, man. They were taking eye candy left and right. They were out of position left and right. And obviously it's not an SEC physical D line, so they got pushed around. You expect that, but you need your linebackers to be right, and they were wrong a lot. But all right, Jay, what's your score prediction on the game?
All right, so I think Auburn is going to score. They'll probably get 11 possessions. They'll score out of 5 of them. The key will be if we can limit to some of those to field goals.
Yep.
I got us 34-27. Good guys.
34-27, good guys. So very reasonable score, man. Let's hope we get it. That is just under a cover. I think that's very much on the table, about a 7-point win. No, that is a cover. That's a 7-point win. All right. I like it, J. Paul. Thanks for the call, man. You have a good night.
All right.
Congrats to was it your son playing?
No, that's my nephew.
Nephew. Congrats to your nephew, man. Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
All right. Noble, you're on with Drew. How we feeling, Noble?
What's up, Ags and Drew? It's
Ags and Drew.
Been a big week for all of us, and it feels like everyone's like really nervous for considering the high we just came off a few weeks ago.
Dude, does that make it more nerve-wracking? I was thinking about this, and I said this on Agnox, which is a show I just did. I posted it on the channel on the community if y'all want to check that one out. I said, is it just because it's this game? Is it because it's the one after Notre Dame? Because it feels like this is the one that confirms we are what we think we are, right? Like
it's also Auburn.
It's Auburn. Yeah.
Kyle has not always been what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. That game goes against the expectation, against the home away split. It goes against that often. But then I came to think, like, we do well in this one. Aren't we just going to feel the same way next week against Mississippi State? Is this just rinse and repeat? I really think this one has a little bit of added stuff to it, though.
Exactly. I think, that's if you're going to be nervous about this, you're going to be nervous about everything, which is, a fair take. But then what I don't like is when somehow we hold the sins of past coaches against the current administration. Like, your fandom for this current Texas A&M iteration under this team is only 1 year old. And so you only have one sample size to go off that. So going into this week, I actually think we have 3 opponents we need to beat. Auburn being one of them.
I know where you're going with this. Continue. I know exactly where you're going.
So I'm gonna go in tier of least importance to most importance. So and it's all opinion based, but we'll start with the minimal one. So the first opponent we're going to go after is we're competing against Oklahoma. We are going against Oklahoma because we don't play them, but the way their schedule is set up, if they go 9-3 and we go 9-3, they have the better not looking 9-3, and so this common opponent is a huge determining factor. So we don't necessarily need to beat them by the same margin, but we need to look good while we do it, or at least to a certain extent. Like, we can't look terrible. The win is the most important thing, obviously, but the way we do it is also important, especially now that Oklahoma will be given more credit, knowing that Mateer was playing with a broken hand. So that's put some shame on Auburn there.
Yeah, and just like the precedent set there with how the committee views injuries. I mean, look at Florida State. That was the defining factor in them missing the playoff. I mean, they look at this stuff. This is all relative to their decision making. So good point, man. It's a very good point.
Yeah. Okay, so the other opponent is obviously the one in front of us, Auburn. That's who we're going to be playing. I don't think we thought about anything else. I like how you clarified what is a trap game. And I mean, you coming off Elko had the perfect teaching tape of hey, we got away with a win, but we there's so much we left on the field, from a defensive and offensive perspective, and special teams, everything from that. We shouldn't have needed to win by 1 point. Obviously, I think it was a valuable learning experience, and it really showed us something. I think we would have been satisfied with a 20-point win in obviously on the road. Would have been very impressive. But then it was, no one wants to necessarily be in a close game, but then when you are, you got nut cutting time. You got to you got to put them out, show them what you are, and I think that's huge. Auburn had a final drive to make something happen, and Auburn is terrible in these slates, in these situations. I think everyone who says they found themselves in one possession games that could have easily won. You know who else did that? We did that under Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
And we're guys, we're just a play away. We're just a drive away, whatever it is, from going from a loss to a win. And you know what it is? There's a skill in turning those losses to wins. Nebraska is the same way. They brought probably the most single possession losses, and they just keep finding ways to lose. And then Elko and this team really proved themselves and when the game's on the line, they got ice in their veins.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were in a close game versus Auburn last year, lost it in a close game versus Notre Dame last year, got that one back this year. So that's the next level, man. That's the next step. Can we keep doing that? We might be another close game, or we can take care of business. We'll see.
Yeah. And then the final boss we need to defeat, and it's not going to be defeated in one game. It's the accursed BAS.
Oh, my goodness. Never going away.
Maybe not, but I will say this, you got to be like as Ted Lasso would say, be a goldfish, happiest fish in the sea. You got short-term memory, and like I said, your memory, what you hold, what you credit to the team, good or bad, should be dictated by what the current administration is doing.
Yeah,
I think just rehash it real quick, like an 8-4 regular season in the year one of a SEC head coach, not what we wanted, especially the way it ended, is not bad. Especially knowing how we were handicapped at the end with defense collapsed, which is obviously on the coaching and the players, but then also how limited we were on the personnel and offensive side. And you can see with a full season, Elko's expressed a lot more confidence, and I believe that we can still grow and get better. Obviously, we left a lot of plays on the field. I think going into this game, it's going to be – I don't think there's a ton of mystery in it. I think it's a matter of who can get their guys to execute, and Auburn is a major disadvantage because it seems like they can't – they might let Oklahoma beat them twice, quite frankly. And because Oklahoma is going to be balanced in offense. They're going to run the ball no matter what, even if they don't have great success in it, so they can set up the pass. So we got to respect both things. They did the same thing to us last year. And our offense will respond. However, if they want to load the box, great. They don't have a great, track record against explosive plays. And then even then, I would still love for us to be able to in those finals, 6 minutes, let's just eat clock and go to town.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see how this game is played. Let's see how Auburn comes out. I imagine they're going to want to run the ball against us. I imagine they're going to knock on that door. They're going to be going left and right. They're going to be trying to get us to take the eye candy like we've done before, take bad angles like we've done before. It's going to be a real big matter of how we attack this bye week and how much we were actually able to address things we haven't been good at. Because they it's all on tape now. It's not a new season anymore. I mean, it's relatively new, but overall, you've seen these teams. What is this game? What are both game plans, and how do we handle it? So we shall see. Noble, what's your score prediction?
I went a couple different ways with this. I think in an ideal world where we play our best ball, we hold them. We win 41-24. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm accounting for some mistakes being made, so I'm going 38-27, so very close to what yours is. I think they score 5 times and get 2 field goals off of it, and I think we should score more than 40, but we either miss a field goal or something happens where we only score 38, which is, that being said, that's scoring 6 times out of our drives. And I think the way our offense set up, we're giving ourselves more and more opportunities to get offensive drives in. Yeah. With the way how explosive it is, the amazing thing about having these receivers is okay, so you go 3 and I will say I wish we would get on a faster start, but I think they intentionally throw Marcel right out the gate to get him rolling. Yeah. And if he makes those completions, great. If not, then we'll try it again, because at any moment it's kind of like a home run hitter. He might strike out. Next at bat, he might hit a 3-run home run.
Get it under his belt early, get him lathered and loose early. Yeah. We saw that. We ran the ball first play against Notre Dame, but then we passed it 3 times, I think. We had the holding call that set us back. Versus UTSA, first play of the game was a bubble or a screen to KC. So I think that's on the top of mind. I think the thing early in games is we've had a penalty first drive of every game. Yes. Or on special teams. Versus UTSA, we had a holding, Armage, I think it was, Armage. Versus Utah State, we had the holding take back a very, very strong kickoff return to set the tone on that drive. Versus Notre Dame, we had the holding by Crownover, which I think was a bad call, but still a risk. Got to watch out, I guess. Yeah. So that's part of it too, man. The penalties have been high for A&M. We've had 25 penalties so far on the year through 3 games. 13 versus Notre Dame, 6 versus UTSA, 5 versus Utah State, and a lot of them come early. We got to fix that.
Yeah, I think if you can tell me two things like going into this game, I'll feel really confident about the result. Is like if you tell me we cut down on penalties, especially on the offense, those procedural penalties, and then just get our own way essentially. And then the other thing is, and this is the key matchup I think, is if you tell me the defensive line has a not even a great day, just a good day, those two things alone will make me feel extremely confident in us winning.
Here's
I think that defensive line needs to go to work.
I totally agree. And here's an interesting like stat that we'll look at. And if it goes this way, I think we won the game. If it goes this way, I think we lost it. And this is based on what Jay has said, some of the comments has said. If Jackson Arnold passes the ball 30 plus times in the game, that's the only stat we have. I feel like A&M won that game. But if Jackson Arnold only had to pass the ball 15 times in the game, I think Auburn might have won that game. If they didn't have to pass more than that, that's.
I think our run defense is like I was concerned about the run defense going into Notre Dame game, and I felt very assured about that. Now I'm worried about zone coverage,
tackling, in zone coverage. Yeah, I mean we got to get to those guys. That stuff's different now.
Yeah, if we can limit like Love and Jaron Price, then I feel pretty decent about our ability to.
I do too. I just think Auburn stresses your defense in different ways in the running game with those weapons at receiver going left to right.
Exactly, yeah.
But anyway, Noble, that's a good call. Do you want to stick on for a second? I want to talk about a couple other games with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to look at some other games around the country real quick. Shout out to RHOBACK who sponsors the channel. They dropped an A&M merch line. Check it out. It's in the description. 20% off discount code is Drewtamu. It's awesome clothing. Noble, you like RHOBACK, right? They make some good stuff.
I got my first RHOBACK through you, and that thing was so comfy. Like I never ever spend like $80 on a shirt, and I think this was worth every penny.
Well, dude, I've had some RHOBACks just last years because they wear good after washes. But I wore RHOBACK on the channel before they even sponsored the channel, so it's a
good brand.
Yeah, it's a good brand. I recommend them. But let's look at some games around the country real quick, Noble. Since you're on, we were shorter with your call because we had talked about most of the talking points already before you came on. Mm-hmm. We'll go through the main games. Notre Dame, Arkansas, you got my pick. It's a tough game because if Notre Dame's defense ends up going the wrong way the rest of the year, this is absolutely a game Arkansas can win. Their offense is as good as they come right now. They've made some critical mistakes late in games. That's cost them. But backs are against the wall, not only for Arkansas's season, but as Jay was talking about, for Sam Pittman's tenure. Notre Dame in a similar situation for their season, right? Like they need to win every game, and this is an SEC opponent that can be one of the few little benefits to their schedule, to their resume. And right now it's a close line. What do we have it at? Right now it is Notre Dame -4. What do you have in this game, Noble?
I'd take Notre 4.5. Yeah, no, I mean get Notre Dame. Like I think that they might even cover. I think as far as giving up 30 to Purdue, I mentioned in a comment earlier. It was 56-23, and then they
2 minutes left.
Covered, the last 2 minutes, and that I don't think I will admit the Notre Dame defense isn't as good as everyone thought it would be going into the season. That being said, like Arkansas is so bad on defense, and any way they could find a way to lose a game, including Memphis. I took Memphis to cover, pick of the week, and the straight up like how do you they had 2 chances to win that game. Actually, the first one was like you kick the field goal with time expiring, don't fumble the ball, and you can and you win the field goal on a walk off. But then they still had 3 timeouts and the ability to stop it and force a punt and get it back, and they just gave up. I think they're like they know their coach is on like his final legs. Like it feels like Pittman's been on his final legs for like 2 years now.
This has to be it. Dude, that last drive where I was like, okay, they haven't been a 3rd and long. It was like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. The backup quarterback went in. The freaking defensive tackle, that guy can't be short of 330. That dude was huge. Has his hands around the waist of the backup quarterback, and he just drags him forward for a game-sealing first down. And I was like, oh my goodness, Arkansas, you had 2 chances right here. Not that the second one was a real chance. It was a chance, but dang, man, that was a brutal loss. But anyway, I'm with you there. I'm in agreement. I think this is the end for Sam Pittman. We'll see if they can him the same day or like the next day or whatever. But yeah, man, that's a rough spot. Ohio State, Washington, real quick. I have Ohio State winning. I have Ohio State covering. I know Washington's undefeated. They're looking good, but I'm taking Ohio State in that one. Who do you have?
What's the spread again? I think I took Washington
Minus
to cover.
7.5. It's possible they cover.
I think I took Washington when the line was higher than 7.5. But so at at under 10.5, I think I got the line at Washington 10.5 earlier,
Okay.
and then the line has shrunk by a field goal, which says a lot. Yeah. Because Washington is a very good home field advantage, and it's a team that kind of being slept on. I think they got a good quarterback, and Ohio State. Like I am kind of curious because like it feels like Ohio State has had their resume watered down.
Yeah.
Because of Texas.
Yeah.
And so I still think Julian Saying's really good. This is going to be a huge, like this is his first away game, I believe. I have no idea about the Washington defense, I will say. So let's just see what happens there. But I like Ohio State to win. I like Washington under 10.5. At 7.5, it's close. It's very close.
Staying away from that one, yeah. LSU Ole Miss, big game, understanding what LSU is going to be this year. We talked about it earlier. LSU has started very slow offensively. I mean, Nussmeier's running around for his life way too often. The offensive line's not protecting. It seems like their best offensive plays are Nussmeier running to the sideline, making a last-second pass. A couple of good things, too, but it just hasn't been crisp. On the other hand, defense is looking like top of the SEC. They've hit on that defense. They haven't hit on the offensive line, and the offense is kind of in a weird place. So it feels like this is a fork in the road for LSU. Because Ole Miss and good old Strickland?
I forget his first name, yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, this dude is lighting it up. It's lighting it up right now. And, I mean, Lane Kiffin's building a monster, man. It seems like whoever he has in any slot on his team, they're figuring it out. But it's at Ole Miss. I don't think that Ole Miss test versus LSU is what we thought it was. I don't think that LSU litmus test versus Clemson is what we all thought it was going into the year, because my take was always LSU beats Clemson. That's all I need to see. This is a real team. Look at Clemson, man. Look at Clemson.
Aged like milk.
I know it aged like milk, and LSU has not looked sharp offensively. How are you feeling, man?
I feel like this game has been the worst kept secret as far as like how the game's gonna lean. Like I thought, like everyone thought, like like the secret sneaky pick is Ole Miss. Because it feels like people who are still propping up LSU are having less and less of a leg to stand on. Like that offense looks kind of inept right now. And yes, the defense looks really good, but then who's the best offensive team that played so far?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably still Clemson, right? I mean,
and then I'm convinced that like, what's her name? The Lane Kiffin's daughter is an absolute genius. Like she lit her dad's ass on fire, I'm sure, posting that picture of her with Weeks. And you heard the man. Take me over. You think like this game, like I don't think I've seen a Lane Kiffin offense shut down before. Like he may not score as high, like, but if he scores 27, or even if he scores 27, do we know for a fact that LSU can score 27 as well?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a question this game. And honestly, Ole Miss is one of the offenses right now that looks good enough to score 27 plus against LSU's defense. One of the few, because LSU's defense looks really good. Yeah, that whole Lane Kiffin daughter thing was crazy. I can't help but think that Lane Kiffin knew about it, was very aware that it was going to happen. Because I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked deeply into this, that he dropped like a family documentary like the next day. And it's like this brought him into the forefront, and it also sparks the team, lights you, it gains interest to the team. Lane Kiffin works social media. I see redshirt sophomore in here if that offense figures it out, though. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that LSU's offense, by the time A&M plays them, will figure it out, but I feel like this is the game where you start to see the signs. Just as we're saying with, I think LSU and A&M are actually in a similar boat, just the mirror version. It's like A&M's offense is performing really well. I think the defense will still gain ground over the year, but this game versus Auburn is where we need to start seeing it. For LSU, it's the opposite.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, maybe I haven't looked I mean, I've watched a few LSU games, but like I've seen more signs from our defense of progressing week by week than I've seen like LSU's offense advancing. Like they played Southeast Louisiana last week at FCS teams, and that tells you nothing. Their run game hasn't looked good, and Garrett Nussmeier is not bad. He's just not looking like a Heisman contender or even like a highly ranked SEC quarterback.
He's banged up too. I mean, the O-line's he's running around so much.
New O-line.
But like to your point, redshirt sophomore, and what we've been saying before this week is that they're one side of the ball just getting a little bit better from being holy shit good. Like they have that, and we haven't seen that progression, but they certainly have the pieces offensively. So we'll see. I'm taking Ole Miss in this game. What do you think?
I take Ole Miss as well. That line, like I think it went from like LSU like -2.5 and swung all the way in Ole Miss's favor now.
Yeah, and this is the game where we can see like what is LSU. We thought it was the Clemson game. At this point, it's this game. All right, Let's talk about one more big one. I think it's down here. No, let's talk about this one first. Tennessee, Mississippi State. Admittedly, I don't know much about Mississippi State right now. I just know that they beat Arizona State at home. It's not a game I expected them to win. And they're blowing teams out they're supposed to. Blake Shapen's tearing it up. They found themselves a couple of receivers, especially the transfer from Texas. What's his name? Brennan?
It's not Miles Brennan, is it?
No, it's Brennan Thompson, I think.
Brennan Thompson. Okay.
I'm terrible with names, but this is the wrong team. Anyway, I think this game is close. I think it's at home, Mississippi State. I think the cowbell is going to be in full effect this game. I think this is a team that is much better than expected. I don't know if the energy from opponents will match the level that Mississippi State's actually bringing to the table here, and I think it's like a touchdown favorite. Tennessee's a touchdown favorite. I think this is a super close Tennessee win. I think this is a game that they win by a field goal or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm saying this is a super competitive game.
I'm high on Tennessee. I thought the world of Heupel going into the season. I thought he would suffer a setback, and he seems to have done even better with this new quarterback he got. Like he's like their quarterback.
Aguilar.
The quarterback, Tennessee quarterback. He's been there for a very short amount of time.
Yeah, late in the cycle, surprising loss of Nico Iamaleava. I got to get every syllable in there. Yeah, and he's been great, man.
Yeah, I think like Mississippi State's, like I don't know if resurgence is the right term, but they have impressed me a lot more. That's hilarious because I went into the season saying we could sleepwalk to Mississippi State. For the record, I do not believe that anymore. But I still think Tennessee is a lot better. I think they win by at least a touchdown. I took Mississippi State at plus 10.5. At 7.5, I still might take Mississippi State, but that's very close to that point. I would leave it alone at 7.5. But I think I like Tennessee a lot. Aguilar has impressed me. I don't think the thing is like Mississippi State, like they allowed Arizona State to come all the way back in because straight up they just ran the ball. Like what's his name, the quarterback Levitt for Arizona State. They just took the ball out of his hands and they managed to come all the way back on Mississippi State. And so Tennessee's, they're gonna have a good run game. They obviously got the explosives. I think their defense does enough, but I think either way, the Tennessee offense is too explosive.
Yeah. And, I mean, somehow Mississippi State wins this game. Imagine the scene at Kyle Field next week. Imagine that.
So I enjoy that, actually.
Low-key going for Mississippi State because I want that hype factor. I will be watch partying next Saturday, y'all, so y'all make sure if you're not going to the game, tune into that. All right, I think there is one more game now, and I think it's the biggest SEC game of the weekend besides A&M versus Auburn.
Oh, Georgia-Bama?
Georgia-Bama.
You know how we've been digging into our family history?
Yeah, I'm going Georgia here. I don't have the trust in Bama yet. I think they've had the resurgence, right? They've done as well as they could have the follow-ups to the sleepy game versus Florida State. But I just look at Georgia. I look at Kirby at home. I look at revenge factor here. I know none of that is tangible stuff. I think there's pretty equal talent across the teams here. I look at Georgia's run game, able to control the game a little bit. I really like Gunnar Stockton. I think this is a guy that will threaten for the Heisman down the road. The willingness to run Gunnar Stockton has been surprising and really good for Georgia. But let's see if they can stop anything because Bama has a chance to score a lot of points in this game. So let's see how this Georgia secondary handles a really good Alabama receiver core. That's the big question here. Yeah. But I'm taking Georgia by about a touchdown.
Ooh, a touchdown. Okay. I'm gonna spoiler. I'm gonna take Georgia as well. I will say, I do believe Alabama is going to give their 110% shot on this. I actually think like the funny thing with Alabama is I almost have more faith in them to perform at the highest level possible in these big game scenarios. The problem, and this is what happens when you go away from Saban, and I don't care how good your coach is afterwards, is that floor just drops out from underneath you. Yeah. And then things like, getting blown out by Florida State can happen to you. I think Alabama is going to give it their best shot, and it's with the series is weird because Alabama has for the most part won, but Georgia is has an insane streak defending their home turf in SEC play, and I like Gunnar. I liked Gunnar Stockton a lot even before he came in, because he's just kind of he reminded me of like a Stetson Bennett but more talented, and he's a real rah guy. It looks like Georgia. Like the only thing that concerns me is their defense, but I mean they had a whole week to prepare. You can't tell me like Kirby Smart's not going to address that during that bye week.
That's the thing. Like, give Kirby Smart bulletin board material and see what the hell happens. Not even bulletin board, just bad play. You know what he said after the game versus Tennessee. We should have lost that game. We shouldn't have won that game. He said we didn't deserve to win that game. Like right there on the field, and it's like, man, that dude was a pissed off, angry animal all week in practice, and Kirby's just a freak like that.
I love Kirby.
But let's see if they can handle the Alabama passing attacks. Ty Simpson's playing a lot better. Obviously, the receivers are really good. That's going to be kind of the tone setter, the key factor in the game, I think. But give me Georgia. What do you have in the pick?
I'll take Georgia 3.5, though it's close. I could see a world where it's a field goal game, but I mean, if I'm picking a 3.5, I'll take Georgia to cover.
There we go. All right, real quick, we'll go Big Ten because there's obviously a massive Big Ten game. We got to pick Penn State, Oregon. I'm going to go Penn State in the game, close.
You know how we've been.
I think this is their breakthrough. I think this is their big top 10 in-season matchup. They finally win. I think this is the breakthrough game, wide out. Look, it hasn't been a pretty start to the year for Penn State. It's been a sleepy start. But sometimes a game like this is what you need. Oregon's looked really good, though. What do you think?
If I'm going to pick a game when it comes to James Franklin, I just need to see what the number is next to the opponent. If it's anyone below 5, then I get Penn State. If it's anyone above 5, then it's until it's proven otherwise. I will not pick Penn State. I will not. You're gonna have to make me look like you're gonna have to prove it to me before I pick you. I need to see Drew Aller in these big game moments, and because it's going to come down to Drew Aller. They can. We know that we get it. You know, they're going to be able to run the ball because that's what Penn State does. But I think they ran the ball a ton against Oregon in the Big Ten championship, and Oregon routed that game. I like Dante Moore. This is going to be a big game for him, obviously on the road.
Heisman moment potential. This is his chance. He's been good enough to be in it. Now's the game to showcase yourself. Honestly, Keytron Allen's been really good. Singleton's been solid, but it hasn't been the takeover for Singleton so far on the year. This is their chance, man. This is their chance to prove it. This is the team that was built to pick up where they left off last year and excel and be better. Feel like they have the receiver core. Feel like they have everything they need. This, I think I believe. I think I'm bought in enough. I think I give it to him. What's your pick?
Give me Oregon. They gave me Penn State and the points. I don't need the points. Give me Oregon. I think I just don't believe in James Franklin's ability to win a top 4 game until proved otherwise.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's a very fair point. But we'll see, man. It's super intriguing. Here's my big hope, Noble. I'll let you go after this. Just saying, I just selfishly win the game so we can enjoy these at night. A&M. Beat Auburn so we can go and watch in Georgia, Bama, and just be fat and happy, sipping our margaritas, eating our various meats, sitting wherever we watch games, and just sit back knowing we took care of business and watch this. Please, selfishly, I need that so bad. Noble, I appreciate the extra time, man.
Absolutely.
Have a good night. We'll talk soon.
All right, Giga Mags, let's beat the hell out of Auburn.
Let's do it, man. Later, Noble.
Make some money off this weekend.
Let's make some money, man. Let's make some money. Later. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll be live again midday Sunday. I'm going to spend the night in College Station. I'll be back the next morning, so I'll get on as soon as I can get home. Look out on X. I'll post the link on YouTube as soon as I know what time I'm going to be on. Guys, thanks for being here. It's a big one. This is the one that tells us if we're real, if we're going to be able to follow up the big game with good play, see if we can excel, take steps forward. I'm super excited for it. Let's beat the hell out of Auburn.